Just a day after the first Tesla Robotaxi was spotted in public, caught on film testing in Austin, Texas, CNBS has a new piece with the title Jim Cramer on Tesla. Looking very much forward to this. If history is anything to go by, there's a reasonable chance that Jim will say something positive about Tesla and then the rest of the panel will say something very embarrassing about the so-called competition.
Elon Musk walking back his criticisms about the president on social media. Overnight on X, he posted, quote, "I regret some of my posts about President Trump last week. They went too far."
And as expected, there we have it. I think most people would agree with this post. There's been reports that Elon actually called Trump and personally spoke to him before posting this. And to the panicky short-term traders who dumped Tesla stock, resulting in its biggest ever single-day decline in dollar amount, not percentage terms, but market cap. If you keep it score at home, Tesla today closing at $326.40. Above the point where investors panic sold Tesla over a short-term blip. The same month, robotaxis begin operating commercially in Austin. Anyone take advantage of the discount? Tesla just over the $1 trillion market cap once again. At the time, I said this was just noise. Didn't affect Tesla at all. I also predicted that it wouldn't take too long before Elon and Trump began to patch things up. And here we are.
As you may recall, there are differences over the tax and spending cuts bill extended into some back and forth responses on social media about other issues. Meanwhile, Jim, Tesla's going to go for 4 days higher today. It's up 17% since Friday.
We got a lot of downgrades, and it visibly stuck. It didn't go down, and then it went up 10%. I'll give you a good example. Guggenheim has a sell on it today. If I crossed out the word sell and I read it, I would be buying. I mean, it's that positive. It's about Robotaxi, and it's about the total addressable market. And initially, Tesla won't do that well. But I've got to tell you, I would never sell Tesla in this. And then
strong words there from Cramer. Let's actually read the quote they're referring to regarding Robotaxi, blah, blah, blah. After spending an exhaustive amount of time exploring the opportunity for Tesla, we are largely confirming our prior opinions. Wait, what? So it says Guggenheim sell Tesla, and the quote they have on screen, not a lot of context here. ... Robotaxi deep dive analyzing potential risks, opportunities and impediments to commercialization. They go on to say, basically, after considering Robotaxi even more, we still think you should sell Tesla stock. All right, so I went and did some digging. Apparently, Guggenheim, along with this sell rating on Tesla, raised their price target to $175, previously $170.
Piper Sandler with just a few bullet points about why it's going to be fantastic. Driverless Teslas have been spotted in Austin. Of course, he's walked back when it's going to be, but I continue to believe that.
All right, so our fact check walked back to when Robotaxi launches. No, false. There was some fake news published with an alleged launch date for Robotaxis in Austin in June. Allegedly. No confirmation or denial from Tesla, so they haven't walked anything back. The first time they've publicly stated a specific date in June as opposed to the month of June. They're targeting, but this isn't guaranteed. They're being super cautious, so it could get pushed back. But they're targeting the first commercial fare in a Tesla Robotaxi on the 22nd of June. There's no walking back. They've simply just thrown a date out now for the very first time, just to be clear. Although, that said, if it's off by a matter of days, weeks, months, or even quarters, I don't give a fuck. It's not going to change the shape of the curve, the S-curve in Tesla's profits, driven by massively scaling their fleet of autonomous vehicles globally over the next 10 years.
You've got to own the stuff.
Yeah, Piper's point is that actually higher car prices will drive the market for robotaxis.
I got a kick out of reading it, but the fact is, David, stock's bottom. And now you're talking about, take a look.
This was just last week after the posts, you were saying, I don't think you can own it.
Now, this shit's hilarious. I actually was watching David's face as Jim was talking. I'm going to rewind it and replay this a bit. Just focus on David's face. The fact that David's calling Jim out here for being a flip-flopper is hilarious, although that's actually Jim's job, in my opinion. As I've said before, smart investors make very few decisions and take very few actions. But that doesn't generate a lot of fees for Wall Street, nor does it incentivize viewers to continue to tune in to CNBS and the finance media here. What should I buy or sell today? What should I panic about today? You can see Jim's defensive body language here too. Hilarious shit. I actually can't believe that David called him out. So anyway, we're going to rewind this a few seconds. Just watch his face as Jim's talking and explaining how you have to own the stock. You don't want to sell it, that kind of thing. Watch David's face.
The fact is, David, stock's bottom. And now you're talking about, take a look.
This was just last week after the posts, you were saying, I don't think you can own it.
It's at I caught 60 points.
It's okay. All right.
What do you want from me?
I want answers is what I want. I want the truth.
The truth is that Jim's entire world revolves around having 400,000 opinions on everything. One moment it's buy, the next moment it's sell because it generates activity and interest. That's the truth. I'm just kidding. I don't know what I'm talking about. Why'd I even say that?
You can't handle the truth. There you go, Schrager. You got it.
Yeah, you can't. Now, I will tell you, David, in a spirit.
Right. I just want you to explain. All right, because I take the incoming for you.
In spirit of goodness.
Yes.
The notion of what he's saying about Jensen and their partnership on autonomous. Wow. Because there are a lot of people who feel that their autonomous does not have what Waymo has, which is the miles run. But
they don't, and they have a different approach. And I discussed that with Musk, obviously, a few weeks ago when we sat down
in terms of
the approach.
Can we play it? Because it's seminal.
I don't know with that sound, but yeah,
it's seminal,
we do have Elon obviously talking about the rollout in Austin, which is going to begin June 22nd, and obviously on a very modest basis, but moving up from there pretty quickly. Take a listen.
We have cars driving 24/7 with drivers in the cars, and we see essentially no interventions. So we want to be very careful with the first introduction of unsupervised full self-driving, meaning that the car's driving around with no one in it.
Right.
So we're going to
no one behind a driver's.
Well, yes, and sometimes no one in it at all.
Right.
It's going to pick someone up. So the car also has to be incredibly safe.
And that's where they are. Obviously, he said 10 to 12 at first, and there's some video, and then they'll quickly ramp it up.
Right.
From there to as many as well over 1,000 in a short amount of time.
Jensen's comments here. The work that Elon, is doing with Grok, his self-driving car, his Optimus, these are every single one of them world-class, every single one of them revolutionary, every single one of them are going to be gigantic opportunities, and we're delighted. I'm delighted to be working with him. Boom, I rest my case. That's what the story is. This is a partnership that has made it so that I think that he's leapfrogged.
Well, it's powering the neural network that is powering the cars, is NVIDIA, right?
I think it's the future because that's what I think.
And he said, it's like, I can't get away from NVIDIA chips now. By the way, he was also talking about XAI there, where he was talking about
Yes, but it was amazing during that conference call a couple years ago, where he said, like, he's extracting his monopolist, but you can't help it. You got to use it. And this sounds like a very good partnership. Maybe there's like an era of peace that Musk is trying to be.
Meanwhile, NVIDIA's only, not that far off from an all-time high.
$10.
Now you're talking.
So you think last week one of the game theories of how the president could ice Elon would be to have a federal policy that favors Waymo's technology over Musk?
I'm just laughing at this. I addressed this in the moment. I was seeing a lot of ridiculous speculation that Trump would retaliate against Elon, saying mean things on X about him by weaponizing his power as the president to unfairly attack, hinder, or disadvantage Tesla in any way possible, including through the rollout of autonomy, as I pointed out at the time. This won't happen. If the Trump administration were to actively attack and go after an individual for personal reasons, for political gain, for vengeance, the administration would lose trust of many of the people who voted for them in the first place, and they're not that dumb, unlike, of course, the previous administration, which literally did exactly this. Some examples perhaps would include Joe Biden out loud when asked by a reporter with a pre-vetted question that he knew was going to be answering. It's worth looking into Elon Musk and his relationships with other countries, blah, blah, blah. Next minute, SpaceX is getting investigated. They're being sued for not hiring non-citizens, but literally can't because it's illegal, because they make space tech, e.g. borderline weapons technology. Can't win if you do, can't win if you don't. The Biden administration holding the electric vehicle summit, stealing Tesla's valor, falsely crediting General Motors, Government Motors, Mary Barra, you led and it matters. Bullshit. You electrified the whole industry, Mary. I made it. Bullshit. Proposing absurd incentives for consumers purchasing electric vehicles that massively advantaged union-made electric vehicles, which intentionally disqualified Tesla. Thank fuck that actually ever became law, but it was proposed. I could rattle off many more examples. My point was, this was not going to happen from the Trump administration. It would destroy trust amongst many who voted for the administration in the first place. It's a no-win situation.
Do you not think that's possible?
Well, I think that David has talked about a particular felon from New York who's not alive anymore, and that may be a bridge too far when you tweet about it.
Oh, yes, the Epstein thing was, once you go Epstein, it's hard to come back, yeah.
That is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of the holy grail bad.
Yeah.
But I do think that, you've got, I want to own Tesla.
All right, and again, just to make it clear, at the time after the tweet storm from him, and I said to you, you said don't own it. Now you say own it because why?
Okay, because when I saw that it didn't go down on this vicious series of sells, when I saw that we're that close to Austin, and I think Austin's going to go very well because a lot of the problems are autonomous. People feel he doesn't have it. And I think that right in your face, I think the humanoid's going to be gigantic. It's a
Okay, so Jim is totally full of shit here. Credit to David for pushing so hard. But Jim's just contorting himself now to explain why he was saying sell. His reasoning, in his own words, in essence, was, I said sell Tesla, but then it didn't go down much. So now I'm saying buy Tesla. That was his opening point, followed by, in essence, I'm extremely bullish on AI and humanoid robots. So let's recap. David pushes Jim. Hey, Jim, why did you tell everybody sell Tesla a few days ago and now you're saying buy it and you wouldn't sell it? Jim responds, well, I said sell it, but it didn't go down much. So, and also I'm extremely bullish on these multi-trillion-dollar opportunities that Tesla has a massive lead on. This response does not stand up to scrutiny. Unless, of course, Jim's job is to generate activity, buying and selling, in which case it would make sense. Because what the stock does has no bearing on what Tesla's doing with AI. Jim should be aware of this. But look, in Jim's defense, his job is to entertain and generate fees for Wall Street and returning viewers for CNBS. Dude doesn't get paid for being right. He gets paid for being Jim. All right, I just rewound a little bit because as I was interjecting, Jim was about to mention potentially something about the humanoid robot, which obviously would only apply if Tesla stock didn't go down after Jim said sell, right? Because if the stock had gone down after Jim said sell, then whatever Tesla was doing with humanoid robots would be irrelevant. Doesn't exist, I guess.
We're that close to Austin, and I think Austin's going to go very well because a lot of the problems are autonomous. People feel he doesn't have it. And I think that right in your face, I think the humanoid's going to be gigantic. It's at 2030. You said it, I said it, but it's going to be ahead of that. I'm going to rent a humanoid in the next 2 years. I'm going to have you come over to the house.
You're not going to have a humanoid to rent in the next 2 years. I don't think it's going to be available.
The X1?
You can also get a 22-year-old, young worker to come over and help clean up
I don't know
after the party.
They're not going to be around.
Who makes
They're going to
those?
be deported.
Who makes it? I got to find out who makes those. I think it's X1 out in
But
Norway.
listen, Sam Altman, the first million humanoid robots are going to make the old-fashioned way, but then they can operate the entire supply chain.
The humanoids, the reason why we think about that is there used to be little robots, and Jensen said our whole universe is made for people who are 5'7" to 6'2", and we have to have robots that's hot size, so everything's normal. I am telling you it's not at 2030, it's 2028, and I think you ought to put in for one.
Wow, that's not long from now.
It just gets funnier and funnier. Jim's talking 2-3 years from now, humanoid robots, big impact. But obviously that's only the case now because Tesla stock didn't go down much after he said sell it recently. Totally makes sense. Tesla stock didn't do what Jim expected, therefore suddenly humanoid robots are a huge opportunity and sooner than you think. Want more content? Early access? Bunch of perks? Click the links in the pinned comment. AG1 is awesome. I've been taking it daily now for more than 3 years. It's a great way to fill in nutritional gaps. It's packed full of vitamins, minerals, and whole food source nutrients, plus has prebiotics, probiotics, and adaptogens to improve gut health, regularity, and help your body handle stress. I'm always looking for an edge to help me feel and perform my best, which is why I haven't missed a day of AG1 for more than 3 years. Just try it and see how you feel. Click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR and get yourself a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 plus K2 and 5 travel packs.